Rethink your priorities. You take the time to update the apps on your phone every month, but when was the last time you upgraded your mindset? Often, we struggle to reach new levels in life because we're still following outdated rules that no longer serve us or push us forward. Sometimes what holds us back is our own reluctance to review and let go of what's no longer helpful. In this video, I'll share 10 Stoic principles that can completely change the way you approach life. With these insights, you'll develop a stronger, sharper, and clearer mindset. Rethinking your priorities isn't just about making a new list of goals. It's much deeper. It's about reshaping how you solve problems, face daily challenges, and notice the opportunities around you. These principles are practical tools that will help you navigate life with more calm, awareness, and confidence, enabling you to handle the inevitable challenges life throws at you. So, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, take a moment to subscribe, give this video a like, and stay until the end, because the lessons I'll share are truly valuable for your journey of growth. Rule 1. Live like a warrior of the mind. Have you ever thought about what you're doing each day to shape your life? For the Stoics, living well wasn't about accumulating wealth, material possessions, or even knowledge. It was about applying what you learn in a practical way. Epictetus used to say, if you want to be good at writing, practice it. If you want to live well, train in the art of living. It's crucial to understand that theory alone doesn't change anything. Just knowing something or understanding an idea isn't enough. True transformation comes from practice. Life is like a battlefield in many ways, where each decision, each challenge, and each reaction shapes who you're becoming. The problem is that many people dream of being warriors but don't have the courage to step into the fight. They talk a lot but don't act. For the Stoics, philosophy wasn't just for discussion. It was a philosophy of action, about living according to what you learn. It's about getting your hands dirty, even without guarantees, because what truly matters is progress, not perfection. In the book The Philosophy of Cognitive Behavioral Therapy, Donald Robertson refers to the Stoics as warriors of the mind. For them, living in isolation or avoiding life's difficulties didn't make sense. They didn't just talk about their beliefs, they tested and applied them in real-life situations. Today, many of us have become theorists of the mind. We know a lot but don't apply what we know. Think, for instance, of people who understand everything about healthy eating but struggle to lose weight, or financial experts who can't manage their own money. Knowledge without action is, in reality, pointless. Epictetus asks, if you didn't learn these things to put them into practice, then why did you learn them? Knowing about patience, courage, or resilience means nothing if you don't apply them when life demands it. Being a warrior of the mind means treating every day as an opportunity to train. When something doesn't go as planned, you don't quit or complain. You learn from it and aim to improve. Each challenge is a chance to shape the person you want to be. Stoicism constantly reminds us that life is too short to live on autopilot, repeating the same mistakes. Use every moment, especially the tough ones, to build the kind of life you know you're capable of having. Rule 2. Define your ideal self. Now pause for a moment and imagine the best version of yourself. Someone who is honest, brave, fair, and disciplined. Can you picture that person? That's your ideal self. Not some far-off, impossible figure, but a version of you that already exists, waiting to be developed. For the Stoics, living well is a lifelong journey to close the gap between who you are now and who you can become. This process starts with having a clear guide for your actions. They trusted in 4 core principles: wisdom, justice, courage, and self-discipline. These aren't just nice words or inspirational quotes. They're practical tools to shape your choices, strengthen your character, and bring you closer to the best version of yourself. The reality is that no one lives as their best version all the time, not even the greatest Stoic thinkers. Seneca, for instance, had a daily habit of reviewing his day. At the end of each day, he would ask himself, what did I do well? What could I improve? He didn't do this to criticize himself, but to learn. He understood that making mistakes is a natural part of being human. What truly matters isn't perfection, but the courage to correct your path and keep moving forward. Now, take a moment to think. When was the last time you reflected on what you said or did throughout the day? And most importantly, not to blame yourself, but to understand what you could have done differently to grow even more. This simple habit could be the key difference between living on autopilot and becoming a more authentic and fulfilled version of yourself. Being Stoic isn't about achieving flawlessness. It's about striving to improve continuously. Each day you should wake up with the goal of being better than the person you were yesterday. Stoicism is about living with intention, respecting not just yourself but others and the natural world as a whole. To wrap up, let me invite you to do something. Tonight, before you go to sleep, take a few minutes to reflect on your day. Ask yourself, what did I do well? What could I improve? Don't judge or criticize yourself. Just aim to learn from the day's experiences. This simple act of self-honesty is one of the greatest life changers. Step by step, you'll become stronger, wiser, and most importantly, closer to the version of yourself you've always known you could be. Rule 3. Live in the moment with awareness. Living fully starts with a simple yet powerful act, paying attention. For the Stoic philosophers, this attention, called proche, was the foundation of a mindful life, where every choice reflects the best of who we are. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, focus on what's in front of you with precise thought, unaffected dignity, human kindness, and unbiased fairness. Picture yourself walking barefoot on a beach, feeling the sand beneath your toes when suddenly you step on a shard of glass. Each step becomes deliberate, almost instinctive. That's the kind of attention the Stoics emphasized, a full awareness of every action, not out of fear of mistakes, but with the intention of living each moment as a conscious choice. When our minds wander, we stop truly living in the present. We operate on autopilot, and it's in this state that we make our biggest missteps. Mistakes are inevitable, but recognizing them is where mindfulness becomes essential. As Seneca said, awareness of error is the first step to correction. You must see where you went wrong before you can make it right. This practice isn't about achieving perfection, it's about progress. Pierre Hadot, a renowned Stoic scholar, described proche as a constant watchfulness, an attention that never sleeps. It's not about rigid self-control, but a daily effort to be present in what we do. Epictetus wisely pointed out, we cannot be flawless, but we can strive, and it's enough if we avoid some errors by maintaining this awareness. Living with mindful attention means being present in every small act, listening fully to someone, carefully choosing your words, or approaching problems with a thoughtful mind. Every small action shapes who you are in this very moment. Take a moment to observe yourself. How are you acting? Are your decisions aligned with the person you want to become? Remember, living with mindful attention isn't about controlling everything around you, but about learning to focus on what truly matters. It's the practice of embracing the present, the only moment we have to act and create the life we desire. Rule 4. The true source of suffering. Have you ever stopped to think about why certain situations cause you so much distress? Marcus Aurelius offers a profound and enlightening answer. If you are distressed by anything external, it is not this thing that troubles you, but your judgment of it. This statement unveils one of Stoicism's greatest truths. Suffering doesn't arise from external circumstances, but from how we interpret what happens in our lives. An event itself is neutral until you assign it meaning. Imagine breaking a glass. The glass is broken. That's it. But if you start telling yourself, I'm so clumsy, this always happens to me, that's when emotional pain begins. It's not the broken glass causing the suffering, but what you're telling yourself about it. In the same way, getting harsh criticism at work can feel tough, but the real pain starts when you begin thinking, I'm not good enough, I'll never grow in my career. At that point, it's not the situation itself causing your suffering, but how you're judging it. The Stoics shared a simple yet life-changing truth. Emotional pain comes from our own judgments. When we resist reality, complain, or wish things were different, we create our own suffering. The event itself isn't good or bad, it just happens. It's how you interpret it that turns it into pain. Epictetus gave us 2 valuable lessons. The first is that nothing is good or bad until you decide to see it that way. The second is, don't try to control events, go with them. This doesn't mean being passive or accepting everything without question. Instead, it's about not wasting energy fighting what can't be changed. Resist less and observe more. That's the key to dealing with challenges. Accepting things as they are, without labeling them, frees you from unnecessary emotional baggage. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Try asking, what can I do about it now? Acceptance isn't giving up or settling. It's letting go of the emotional weight that holds you back. When you stop battling what's out of your hands, you gain the strength to focus on what truly matters, what you can change. That's how you turn pain and tough situations into opportunities to grow. Remember, you're not a prisoner of external events. True freedom lies in how you choose to respond to them. Once you realize that what really matters isn't what happens to you, but how you react to it, you'll discover that inner peace doesn't come from controlling situations. It comes from controlling your thoughts and responses. Embracing this understanding helps you find calm, even in life's toughest moments. Rule 5. Always question your first impressions. How often have you reacted on impulse and later regretted it? Maybe it happened when you were angry, frustrated, or just responding automatically to someone's words. This happens because we often think our first impressions are completely true, but they're just initial reactions, not always accurate. Something happens, you feel a certain way, and then you react without stopping to think. It's automatic, but it's worth pausing and asking yourself, does this reaction have to be my only response? Stoic philosophers believe that between what happens to us and how we respond, there's a space, and in that space lies our real power to choose. As Epictetus wisely said, don't get swept away by the intensity of the impression. Instead, say, hold on, impression. Let me see what you are and what you're made of. Let me test you. Slowing down and reflecting before reacting helps us make wiser choices. Imagine a common situation. You're driving and someone suddenly cuts you off. Your first reaction might be anger, thinking, what a rude person. But if you pause and reflect, you might realize that they could be in an emergency or just didn't notice. With this perspective, your anger starts to fade, and you respond with more patience and understanding. That space between a trigger and your reaction is what the Stoics called proche, the practice of taking a moment to think before acting. This doesn't mean ignoring your feelings, but recognizing that not all first impressions are right or need an immediate reaction. Many times, our initial responses are wrong and can lead us to act in ways that go against our values. Real strength lies in not reacting automatically. Instead, by questioning your impressions and thinking things through, you free yourself from the need to respond to everything instantly. Whether it's criticism, an unpleasant surprise, or a provocation, you don't have to be a victim of others' behavior. You can choose to act in line with your own principles. Epictetus reminds us that it's not about being perfect, but practicing the discipline to pause, think, and act wisely. This practice takes effort and self-control. In the heat of the moment, it might feel impossible to pause, but the more you work on breaking automatic reactions, the more natural it becomes. Over time, you'll notice something powerful. Pausing isn't a weakness. It's a sign of strength. So, the next time you feel anger, fear, or a strong impulse, ask yourself, is this impression true? Is it worth my energy? You don't have to be a slave to your first reaction. Test your impressions, decide how to respond, and stop being just a reaction to the world. Start leading your own life. I invite you to commit to this practice. Share your experiences and progress in the comments. Together we can reshape our lives, one day at a time, starting now. Rule 6. Focus on what you can control. How often have you wasted time and energy trying to change things beyond your control? A relationship that ended, a missed opportunity, an outcome that didn't go as planned, or even someone's opinion about you. These moments can be frustrating and emotionally draining, but the truth is, you never had control over those situations. Epictetus offers a powerful lesson. Some things are within our control, and others are not. It's a simple yet freeing truth. Stoicism teaches us to clearly distinguish what we can control: our choices, decisions, and actions. Everything else, like other people's behavior, unexpected events, or luck, is out of our hands. Embracing this reality is the first step to achieving genuine freedom. Marcus Aurelius, on the other hand, challenges us to reflect on the inner power we all possess. He reminds us, who can stop you from being good and sincere? The answer is clear: no one. You alone hold the power to choose integrity, respond with dignity, and stay grounded, even when everything around you seems to fall apart. You can't control others' actions, but you can decide how to respond. The choice to nurture traits like honesty, kindness, simplicity, and consistent effort is entirely yours. These values are your shield against life's adversities, and no one can take them away from you. Life can be compared to a card game. You don't choose the cards you're dealt, but you do choose how to play them. Complaining or wishing for a different hand won't change the outcome. However, how you play, with wisdom, courage, and strategy, is what truly makes the difference. Epictetus teaches us to focus on what we can influence and accept the rest as it is. This doesn't mean being passive, but rather practicing emotional intelligence. Stop wasting energy on what's beyond your control and channel it toward what truly matters. Accepting what we can't change gives us the strength to focus on what we can. Imagine how much lighter life could feel if you no longer spent energy fighting against the uncontrollable. Think about the clarity of living with focus, prioritizing what truly matters, your choices, your character, and the effort you put into everything you do. Emotional freedom doesn't happen overnight. It requires practice and perseverance. But every time you choose to focus on what you can control, you move closer to becoming unstoppable. The next time life presents a challenge, ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, accept it and move on. If the answer is yes, focus on taking the best action possible. True strength lies not in trying to control the world around you, but in mastering yourself. Rule 7. Take responsibility. Life often doesn't go the way we expect. Some days, everything feels out of control, and the natural response is to find someone or something to blame. However, Stoic philosophy offers a transformative perspective. True responsibility lies in your hands. You are accountable for your actions, how you respond to challenges, and, most importantly, the meaning you assign to your experiences. Epictetus imparts a profound truth when he says, "If you want something good, you must find it within yourself." He's not denying the existence of external difficulties. They are often real and daunting, but when you blame others or circumstances for your unhappiness, you're surrendering your power. By taking responsibility for what you can control, such as your reactions and attitude, you reclaim ownership of your life. Happiness no longer depends on what the world offers, but on what you choose to do. This doesn't mean you won't feel sadness, anger, or frustration. It means you stop letting external factors dictate your well-being. Think of the times you waited for someone or something to change to feel content. An apology, a promotion, financial improvement, or the recognition of someone important to you. Now imagine if those things never happen. Will you spend your life waiting for something outside your control to bring you happiness? Stoicism teaches us that external situations, other people's opinions, unforeseen events, or misfortunes don't define us. What truly matters is how we choose to respond to them. Marcus Aurelius encourages us to focus on what we can control within ourselves. He says, "Show those virtues that are entirely within your power: integrity, dignity, hard work, discipline, contentment, generosity, kindness, independence, simplicity, discretion, and magnanimity." The essence of Stoic wisdom is simple. Don't wait for the world to change to find peace. Take ownership of your reactions, live according to your values, and stop being a victim of circumstances. By embracing this mindset, you not only regain control, but also discover the strength to thrive in the face of challenges. These virtues rely on no one but ourselves. No matter what happens around us, no one can take away our ability to be kind, honest, resilient, or patient. True happiness doesn't come from circumstances, but from how we handle them. Picture life as a road full of unexpected turns and challenges. You can't choose the sharp bends or surprises, but you can decide how to respond. Complaining about hardships won't change a thing, but adjusting your course can make all the difference. Many people think taking responsibility for their own happiness is tough or overwhelming. But in reality, it's the opposite. It's a gift, a key that gives you the freedom to choose how to react to life's challenges. When you stop putting your happiness in the hands of others or external events, you begin to live more lightly and authentically. You realize that true emotional freedom is the ability to decide how to live, regardless of what's happening around you. Everything you need to build a meaningful and fulfilling life is already within you. Don't wait for the world to give you what only you have the power to create. As Epictetus reminds us, what is good must come from you. This is a freedom that no one can take away. Only you can choose how to respond and how to find purpose in your life. Now, if you're ready to truly take responsibility for your life and put this into practice every day, start focusing on what truly matters. Time is our most valuable asset and at the same time, the easiest to lose. Each passing minute is gone forever, taking with it the opportunity to do something meaningful. Yet many of us waste hours, days, and even years on things that don't really matter. Social media, pointless arguments, or worrying about things beyond our control. Seneca warned us, "We are stingy with money and material possessions, but we waste time as if we had an endless supply." Think about this. Would you spend your money on something that adds no value to your life? Then why waste something even more precious, your time, on things that don't contribute to your well-being or growth? Wasting time isn't just a distraction. It's ignoring what truly matters. It's giving up moments that will never come back. Skipping time with family, postponing your dreams, or getting lost in your phone means missing out on the chance to live fully. One day, when you look back, you might find that instead of collecting memories and stories of a life lived with intention, what you have are regrets and missed opportunities. So ask yourself this: at the end of your life, what will truly matter? Knowing all the latest celebrity gossip or deeply understanding your own life and the values that guided it? What will be more meaningful to your children? Your insights on happiness and purpose, or the fleeting news you read and forgot? These questions are essential for reflecting on what truly counts. They remind us that to live a meaningful life, we must be selective about how we spend our time and energy. Choose what nourishes your soul. Invest your time in the people who truly matter to you, in conversations that uplift you, and in projects that leave your mark on the world. The art of saying no to what doesn't add value to your life is actually saying yes to what you truly want to experience. Guarding your time is an act of self-love. Every moment of your day should be treated like an irreplaceable treasure. Don't live just to grow older, because living isn't about counting years. It's about making each day meaningful. Make every moment count so that when you look back, you'll have stories to share instead of regrets to bear. Time waits for no one. It's moving right now, and your life is far too unique to waste. So focus on what truly matters and make your life worth living. Rule 8. Act even with emotions. Emotions come without warning, like an unexpected storm. Anger overwhelms you, fear freezes you, and desire can push you into impulsive actions. However, your life shouldn't be defined by what you feel, but by what you choose to do with those feelings. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus taught us that we shouldn't be prisoners of the emotions that arise within us. The goal is to face what frightens us and learn to let go of irrational desires. This doesn't mean ignoring our emotions, but learning to act with clarity and discipline, even when everything inside us seems to pull in the opposite direction of what truly matters. How many times in moments of anger have you acted without thinking and later deeply regretted it? Or how many important opportunities have slipped away because you were too afraid to take a risk? These feelings are natural human reactions, but they don't have to define your life or your destiny. Just as a river's water can be guided along a specific path, your emotions can be channeled so that even when you feel their strength, you don't have to be swept away by their current. The Stoics referred to this skill as apatheia, which doesn't mean the absence of emotion, but rather having control over them. Picture yourself in the middle of a storm. You feel the strong wind and rain, yet you remain fully in charge of steering the boat. This control doesn't come by accident, but through a conscious decision, not letting your emotions dictate your actions. Epictetus summed this up wisely, reminding us to face our fears with bravery and practice self-discipline when irrational desires try to take over. This involves saying no to things that don't add value to your life, even when the temptation is strong, and saying yes to what truly requires courage and action. Each time anger arises, you can use it as an opportunity to practice patience and calm. When fear shows up, it's your chance to demonstrate courage. The key isn't to eliminate your emotions, but to harness them in a way that benefits and strengthens you. Rule 9. Be honest with yourself. When was the last time you were overwhelmed by a strong emotion, like anger or panic? Maybe there was a moment when anger clouded your judgment or fear held you back from making an important decision. What if, instead of being consumed by those feelings, you had taken a deep breath, acknowledged what you were experiencing, and acted with greater clarity and reason? Acting in spite of emotions isn't always easy, but it's what sets you free, helping you think more rationally and make better choices. When you learn to act despite your emotions, you stop being a prisoner to automatic reactions and start becoming the best version of yourself. The next time a strong emotion arises, do the opposite. Face what needs to be faced. Say no to what doesn't matter, and regain control of the situation. Use what you're feeling as fuel for your growth, becoming stronger with each challenge you face. Accept what happens, instead of fighting it. Suffering often stems from our mental resistance to what has already happened. A certain event may bring pain, but the real suffering comes when we waste energy resisting something we can't change. How often have you exhausted yourself trying to change what was beyond your control? Epictetus described this as fighting against the gods, reminding us that things happen as they must, and emotional pain is often fueled by confusion about what we can and cannot control. You have two choices: accept what can't be changed, and find a way to move forward, or resist reality, which only increases your suffering. By accepting, you stop battling the unchangeable and focus on what can be done to improve your circumstances. Epictetus's wisdom teaches us that instead of wishing events would happen as we want, we should learn to accept them as they are, trusting that this acceptance will bring peace. He said, "Don't wish for events to happen as you want, wish for them to happen as they do. Then your life will be peaceful." Acceptance isn't giving up, it's an act of wisdom. By focusing on what we can change and how we respond, we use our energy more constructively. Rule 10. Challenges as opportunities. Marcus Aurelius had a unique perspective on challenges. He saw them as hidden opportunities. He compared life's difficulties to a bitter medicine that may not taste pleasant, but is essential for our growth and learning. He believed that everything that happens to us, no matter how tough, is there to teach us something. He said, "What happens to us happens for us, not against us." No matter how difficult a situation may seem, remember that it might carry lessons that only become clear with time. What feels like a major setback today could turn into an opportunity tomorrow. This idea is beautifully illustrated in the story of the Chinese farmer. One day, a farmer's horse ran away, and his neighbors said, "What bad luck?" The farmer simply replied, "Maybe." The next day, the horse returned with several wild horses. The neighbors exclaimed, "What good fortune?" The farmer again said, "Maybe." Later, the farmer's son tried to tame one of the wild horses, but broke his leg in the process. The neighbors lamented, "What terrible luck?" And once more the farmer said, "Maybe." A few days later, the army came to the village to recruit young men for war, but passed over the farmer's son because of his injury. The neighbors said, "What a stroke of luck." The farmer, as always, replied, "Maybe." This story reminds us that life's events are often neither entirely good nor bad. They're just part of the journey. Each moment, no matter how challenging, offers us an opportunity to learn, grow, and find meaning. This story shows how it's impossible to know at the moment whether something is truly good or bad. What feels like a major setback today might turn out to be a blessing over time. That's why life teaches us not to judge situations too quickly. Create your own path. Life isn't about controlling everything, but about learning to embrace what can't be changed and focusing on what truly matters. Accepting reality doesn't mean giving up. It means freeing up your energy to act smarter instead of wasting time resisting the uncontrollable. The next time something goes wrong or feels out of your hands, pause and ask yourself, "Can I change this?" If the answer is no, then accept it without resistance. Focusing on what really matters will always be the best way to turn an obstacle into an opportunity to grow. Life is full of unexpected twists, and instead of fighting against it, use your strength to build a stronger and clearer path, even if it starts with the stones life puts in your way. If you're ready to take on what life brings and turn it into something great, comment on the path. Thanks for joining me on this journey. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with your friends. See you next time.